Today in the Lodge kitchen I'm going to be making some cheese straws. These are really light, fluffy cheese biscuits that are great to have as a snack at a weekend, with drinks on a Friday after a long week even. Really simple, easy recipe to do. All you need is butter, flour and grated cheese. I'm going to be using my Thermomix, but this can be easily done in a food processor. There's no special magic to this recipe at all. I'm only using this because I don't have a food processor anymore. So dead simple. First thing you're going to do is just cut up your butter. This needs to be cold butter from the fridge, as if you were going to make pastry. So really nice and cold. Just cut it into cubes. And then we're going to put this butter in the Thermomix with some flour and just whiz it together. And you would do exactly the same in a food processor, or if you were doing it by hand, you would do it like you were doing pastry. So just rubbing the butter and the flour together until it resembles fine breadcrumbs. This is really easier to do in a food processor because the difficult part is not the rubbing together of the flour and butter. It's actually bringing the cheese in and breaking the cheese into it. So first thing we're going to do is whip that flour in. I've got 110 grams of plain flour and exactly the same quantity of butter, and that is then just going to whiz for about 5 seconds in this on 5.5. In your food processor you do it for about, I don't know, a similar amount of time, just until it looked like fine breadcrumbs. So I'll take the lid off this now and you can have a look and see what that looks like. So we'll just, actually that just could do with just a couple of seconds more. So I'm just going to whiz it up another couple of seconds. You'll be able to see that whizzing up through there. And just whiz it up like that, just until it's nicely brought together, so it just looks like breadcrumbs. There we go. And then we'll take the lid off and add in the grated cheese. Now in a food processor or a Thermomix, you can do your cheese first. So you put the cheese in cubes and you just whiz it until it breaks up into small pieces. But I just decided to grate this so that you could see how it's done. And then that, we're just going to whiz up again now on the same, so about 5.5 on this, and you just keep going, and you would in a food processor, until it comes together like so. So dead simple. We'll just take that lid off and you can have a look. So that is how that would look, and then you're just going to tip it out onto your work surface and take the blade out, just bring it all together, just gently, easily, like you would if you were doing pastry. Just flatten it out, and then that's going to go into the fridge for about half an hour to rest. Now I've done some already, so I'll get mine out. So that's been resting for half an hour. I've got it wrapped up in some bumble wrap, so we'll just get that out. Now when you're putting something in the fridge to rest, if you shape it into the shape that you want to eventually roll it out into, so I'm going to try and keep that a sort of square. So if you form it into a square, then just wrap it up. I had to put another little bit on top. Just press it out slightly so it's flat, and then wrap that up. Pop it in the fridge, and as I say, just leave it for half an hour until it's firmed up a bit and just rested. So we've got our chilled piece of cheese pastry. Remember, it's exactly equal quantities cheese, butter, flour. So this was 110 grams of each. And then I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of flour on my work surface. It's a little bit sticky, this, and it's very what's the word? Forgiving. That's the word. Very forgiving. You can keep rolling it. It gets a little bit tougher as you do it, but I'll show you what I mean. You will also need something to sprinkle on top. I use caraway seeds, but you can use poppy seeds. I've got black mustard seeds and onion seeds as well, and an egg for brushing. So get a little bit of flour on your rolling pin and just roll out. And you're rolling backwards and forwards from the middle, just gently to start off with. Try and keep it in that same shape if you can. If it starts to stick, just move it around underneath so that there's flour underneath and it can still move. And just keep going back and forth. Those I've had, they took literally just under 10 minutes to cook. You want to get them just about this golden colour. If they go any further, they taste a bit bitter. So you want to leave them just a couple of minutes on the baking sheet so that they just really crisp up before you try to move them. They're really fragile, so just carefully lift them off and put them on a cooling rack rather, to cool before you eat them, if you can wait that long. You see the different seeds. I think the caraway seeds must be the ones still in the oven. These are the onion seed ones, and they're really, really lovely, crispy, flaky little cheese straws. Perfect for a lovely sunny evening with a drink on your terrace or by a window or wherever. So hopefully you enjoy those, and I'll just show you. Just a nice little snap on them, really nice, soft, fluffy inside. Really good.